Hello, it's Bobby,
And Julia.
and today we're going to talk about the difference between getting a puppy or kitten from a breeder or from a rescue. A lot of people have the misconception that one is right and one is wrong. The reality is, it's like having a biological child versus adopting. There's no right and wrong answer, they're just different.
Mhm.
Um, so we're going to go through the different types of breeders and kind of what to look for, what to be wary of, and the same with rescues. Um, I find there's a lot of information about what a bad breeder is, but it's kind of condemned to talk negatively about a rescue. The reality is there are fantastic rescues and breeders. There are horrible rescues and breeders.
Yeah.
And so we really want to encourage your support of the people who are working their butts off. So I'm going to start off with a little picture of what I would consider a puppy mill. There are different distinctions, but to me, anytime the animals aren't cared for, I don't care if there's 2 dogs or 200, it's a puppy mill. I'm not going to delve into the puppy mills as much as a lot of videos are because it's depressing. You guys know I'm not in this for the shock value of showing you horrible things. Instead, what we're going to do when there's a bunch of time where you'd just be looking at the two of us,
we're just talking.
Fill it with puppies because that's way more fun. So puppy mills are places where you're going to go in and you're going to see puppies just lined up. They might have 20 different types. They're going to have puppies all year round. Do not, by any circumstances, give these people money.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a lot of people, you're going to want to save those animals from that situation, but please contact the authorities. Tell them that you would happily take one of the puppies, kittens, whatever, and have the authorities remove the animals and then take them.
Yeah. You giving them money and adopting that animal is just giving them more funding to continue what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. You need to stop them as well as helping those animals. So a few things to look out for that is if you walk in and you're instantly disgusted, walk out.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a couple of people throwing up
because
and then taking
so
the
bad.
animals.
Yeah.
No, don't. If they ask you to meet them somewhere, don't do it. Always see where they are raised, meet the parents. A lot of the time you can't meet dad because sometimes dad lives somewhere else, but they should be able to give you the person's contact information, pictures.
Lots of pictures.
Yeah.
Preferably current pictures and personality traits, and then kind of if there's, different health problems in the line or, just things about that dog.
The main reason to get a dog from a breeder is to know what you're getting. So you want to meet the parents, meet the family, and just know, well, I'm going to get a dog similar to their parents.
Mm-hmm. A good breeder, typically, you'll know that they love their dogs because they're obsessed with that breed. And that's what I like to see in breeders is when they love that particular breed.
So, my mom is a breeder. This is actually her. This is, to me, what breeding is all about. Where you adore them, you want to be with them all the time. And they should always, to me, any baby, human, dog, cat, they should be just happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No concept of the negative side of the world. And that's if you go in and a puppy or kitten or whatever is just terrified of life, there's something wrong there.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. A good breeder is going to try and expose them to as many things as possible so that, new things aren't as scary.
Mm-hmm. And so the main reason to go to a breeder, like I said, is consistency. If you know that, for example, our breeding program, if you're going to get a golden retriever, you know it's going to be friendly. You know it's going to be great with kids. You know all the things that a golden retriever is. If you come in, you're going to meet the family, the extended family, and you're going to be able to get a feeling of, well, this is what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
If you go in and you don't like the parents, you don't like the way that they're raised, things like that, then just walk away. There's plenty of breeders out there. Just go find a good one. And when you do find a good one, please support them, because a lot of them hear negative comments all the time about how they're puppy mills and how they're horrible people. So support goes a long way.
Yeah.
And we need more good breeders, because the more good breeders there are, the less dogs are going to be in shelters. The more dogs are going to be healthy, happy, in good homes.
Yeah, that's a really important point. A lot of people think that breeders are the ones that are contributing to dogs in rescues. Well, a good breeder won't be doing this, because if, say, one of Mom's puppies, there's a problem, they need to not have the dog anymore, then Mom will take it back. And every good breeder should do that. They should at least help with the rehoming.
Most would be furious with you if you sent their baby to a rescue. Because they are forever your baby. No matter how long they are off in a new home, they're still your baby.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hear that they've been sent off to a rescue, it makes you angry, because you want the best for them. So we're also going to talk about rescues. So this to me is kind of, honestly, I couldn't find that great of examples picture-wise of bad rescues, because it's kind of a taboo subject. Everyone wants to build up rescues, which is great, but you still have to recognize the bad ones. You don't want to be giving all your money to a rescue that's putting it in their pockets, when you could be giving it to a rescue that's barely making it ends meet. So some things to look out for that is try and talk to people, like former employees, former volunteers, things like that.
Always have lots of volunteers.
Just talk in the community about them and see what the public perception is. And a few things to look out for is, where are they getting their animals from? A lot of the time, a rescue that's in it for the money will be looking for the biggest sob stories. So they're going to try and tug at your heartstrings with animals that have major disabilities, huge bite histories, things like that. Or you're going to get the complete opposite, where maybe that dog has bit 5 new homes in a row, and they don't tell you anything. That is a huge red flag.
If you're going to rescue a dog, make sure you get the history from that dog.
Yeah, and one of our employees, Daniel, he does a lot of foster work. He had a fantastic point about, you should be able to, if the dog is in a foster system, talk to the foster person, because they know the animal better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They've been raising them. So if you can go in and you can ask them all the questions that you want, that's great, because that means that you're going into it well informed.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing is when you take home an animal and you don't know that it's dangerous. I've seen a couple cases where people have brought home, say, a cat, and they were told that it's great with other cats. Well, they brought it home and it immediately started attacking their other cats. Some people kind of deflect that and they go, oh, it'll get better. But it could kill the other cats. So it's really, really important to have that information, and then somebody who doesn't have another cat or is extremely confident in their abilities, training, can take on those animals with the bigger issues, rather than somebody that's a first-time pet owner going and taking on a dog with a massive bite history. That's going to end poorly. So it's all about kind of knowing your limitations as an owner and matching that up with an animal you can handle.
Yep.
An example for me personally is I've grown up with, I think I'm like 45 dogs now or something like that I've had in my life. I rescued 2 Great Danes. Well, they had been abused. The one Great Dane put one paw on each side of my, each side of me while I was sitting on the couch and started growling at me. And if I was an inexperienced dog owner, I could have been seriously hurt. She was over 180 pounds, but because I know what I'm doing, I stood up and I grabbed her by the cheeks and I told her that was unacceptable and put her back down. She was used to people being abusive towards her, so she recognized while I was firm, I was not abusive. And she slept in my bed for something like 10 years before she passed away. So, as somebody that's experienced, I can handle it. Somebody that wasn't experienced could have been seriously hurt.
Yeah.
So we're also going to talk about good shelters. I really like this picture. In certain climates, this would be horrible, but this looks like a lovely area. And every dog has its own enclosure. It's got lots of space. You can kind of tell just walking in, if everybody's bright and bubbly and friendly, that's great.
Yeah.
As long as they're not doing the whole like used carsman sales tactics on you. But they should know the dogs. They should walk them around. They should interact with them. We've had issues with our local Humane Society apparently only walking the dogs for 10 minutes a day. You don't get to know them like that, and then you can't communicate with people.
Yeah. You need to spend more time with the dogs. Like us running the kennel, like we spend a lot of time with the dogs, and we only spend like a couple days with them, but you still get to know like their personalities and stuff. So if a dog is at a shelter for a certain amount of time and they don't know them very well, that's kind of a problem.
That came up with a rescue group that they ended up having to pull their 2 dogs out of the Humane Society and bring them to us. Well, they came in and we're telling them all this stuff about the dogs, and they're just in heaven because they're like, oh my god, you know these dogs. You spent time with them. You understand them. And that shouldn't be impressive. That should just be the standard.
Mm-hmm.
They should, everyone in the rescue should be able to tell you all about these dogs, because that's the whole point of the job. Just from a business perspective, if you go into a electronics store and you ask the guy working there about a computer and he has no clue, you're gonna leave. You're gonna just say, well, these guys know nothing.
Mm-hmm. Or if they give you the inaccurate information, then that's not helpful either.
So really what you're gonna find most of the time is the best rescues are the worst businesses. They have no sense of profit, no sense of not spending money, and a lot of them will just dig themselves in with debt because they just can't help themselves. And so those are people that are great to go help, either just by donating, or in a lot of the cases just donating your time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they probably can't afford to pay people. They probably can't afford a lot of the things that they're doing. So they can use the help.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just look out. There's a huge problem with for-profit charities in the pet world. A lot of rescues end up where somebody's taking home large salaries and things like that. Some of them get shut down for embezzlement, taking bribes. things like that. So we wanted to kind of show you that in both cases, no matter where you're getting an animal from, get it from someone you trust.
Yeah.
Get it from somebody that is going to support you. That if 5 years from now something happens, you get sick or something along those lines, they're going to come and help you. They're going to have your back. Because that's a really important relationship to have. Even if it's something as simple as the animal gets sick and you don't know what to do, it really helps to have somebody that can give you advice.
Mm-hmm.
So even don't break that bond. Once you get the animal, keep in contact. Typically they'll want to hear.
Yeah, especially like on the breeder side, they definitely want to hear how their puppies are doing and updates on their health and growing. And
it's pretty common for us to get annoyed that we haven't heard about somebody in a long time, or especially when they first go home, because it's like the most heartbreaking feeling, and you just want everyone to contact you and tell you that they are okay, that they made it through the first night, and so yeah, I hope you guys find that helpful and it changes your opinion where you don't think that people with a different opinion than you are wrong, that they just have a different kind of set of things that are important to them.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that getting a puppy or a kitten from a breeder is a lot like having your own kid. Your purpose is to build them up. It's like a blank slate and you're creating their personality, their hobbies, all that kind of stuff. Whereas with a rescue, it's more like adoption, where it's such a rewarding feeling to turn their life around. Like you can sit there and physically see the things that you've made better in their life,
mm-hmm.
and it's an incredibly rewarding feeling.
A lot of the time they're extremely grateful because they understand that their situation is different.
Yeah. Whereas puppies and kittens usually just think everything is that awesome.
They can be a little spoiled.
Yeah. So just think about what's important to you and your family. Are you willing to take a little bit more of a risk with adoption, or are you more looking for a specific thing where you would want to go to a breeder? And like I said, no wrong reason, no right reason, just what's important to you.
Personal preference.
Yeah. Right. So I hope you enjoyed our video and didn't get too distracted by the adorable puppies.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.